Welcome to this week's edition of the Wiccan Forum. I'm Robert Vecchio.
And I'm Steve Pulowski.
And I'm Manny Ali.
On today's episode, Manny will update us all on the Nigerian witch children. Steve will talk about how a psychic won an execution reprieve. Manny will talk about how Mormons soften the language on gays. But first I will talk about how tonight is Hecate's night. So if you're at a crossroads, send her a quick message and do like a little ritual to her, and she will answer your decisions. But be careful, because Hecate does not talk nicely. Does not talk lightly, I should say, not nicely. If you're not ready for the truth, or to handle the truth, you know, as Jack Nicholson says, can't handle the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't ask for her help. And as you notice, in front of our desk, we have a black candle and a white candle to represent the two sides of her. We're banishing negativity and we're bringing in positivity. And actually, if you notice, the black candle is going down a little bit faster than the white candle.
Yes.
I guess we have a
Very
little
good
bit
observation.
well, thank you, Stephen, for your approval. And I guess we have a little bit of negativity around here today. So,
that's unusual.
Any suggestions on any honoring of Hecate? Have you done anything to Hecate?
I didn't do anything yet today, but I may go home tonight and light a black candle in the
Because
chimney.
I know this is far off in the distance. Next year, you will be running a ritual to Hecate. Would you like to tell us? Have you even thought about it? Have you?
I've thought about it, and I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a great ritual. I still have to figure it out, but I have a whole year to work on it, so it shouldn't be a problem.
It'll probably take you a year to figure it out. Okay, let's move on. Now, a couple of episodes ago, back in season 1, we were talking about how the Nigerian kids were being accused as being witches. Manny, you have an update for us?
Yes, I do have an update. I was actually just doing a little searching around online, and I came across a website, which is, for anybody that would like to know, the website address is www.steppingstonesnigeria.org. And it is, the name of the organization is Stepping Stones Nigeria, and it actually relates to the child witches of Nigeria and to helping them out. The website goes on to state that while they're not persecuting anybody for their religious beliefs, at the same time, they don't feel it's necessary that these children should be persecuted for being witches only by an accusatory sense. There's no actual proof that these children are witches or anything like that.
That sounds like a little familiar to Salem, Massachusetts.
Well, of course, you know, they often say that history repeats itself, and while the whole thing of Salem might not be being repeated here in the United States, it's very possible that it could be repeated somewhere else.
Well, I think
in
the United States we've grown
absolutely,
a lot.
Absolutely.
And I think in the African
community,
okay, I wanted to say tradition of what their belief systems are.
that
Lost the whole train of thought. They haven't reached our level yet. And if something like divorce or, like, say, God forbid, a miscarriage happens, they believe it's the work of the devil. And who are they going to persecute? Well, they're going to persecute the children instead, because they're opener vessels.
Yeah, the website actually goes on to explain that the reason, of course, that the reason these children are chosen is because what happens, according to their belief, is that these children are witches because they don't have a soul, and these children are chosen because they're more susceptible to losing their souls, either through a spell that isn't something that they drink or something that they eat. And like I said, when these spells are given to the children, they're more susceptible to them, and they're easier to quote-unquote prey on. And like Robert has just mentioned, these children are held responsible for any kind of negative malady that happens, whether it be somebody coming down with a disease or a divorce or a miscarriage or anything like that. And it's actually a pretty sad story, because the article...
It is sad. The first thing I've read on this article, it says, how suspected witches are treated. Okay, take your kids away from this computer for a second. Abandoned, isolated, discriminated, ostracized from the community, taken to the forest and slaughtered, disgraced publicly and murdered. Ooh, what fun. Bathed in acid, can't wait for that one. poisoned to death, often with a poisonous local berry called asire, A-S-I-R-E. They're buried alive, or, here we go, chained and tortured in churches in order to extract confessions. What are we, back in the old, like the olden days? Like, come on! This is the 21st goddamn century.
And it actually sounds that
this is what we're living in?
What they're doing is a little bit, I wouldn't even want to say a little bit, it's worse than what they were doing to the witches in Salem 400 years ago.
Absolutely. They didn't, holy God. Bathed in acid and buried alive?